Good morning, second grade. I hope you all have had a wonderful weekend. You got to spend some time outside, and we are getting ready to have another fantastic week of online learning. This week, we're going to be starting out like we would any other week with our word study. So we're going to take a leap and we're going to review some words or review some sounds that are a little tricky that we write and we read all the time. And so our target is what we're going to be starting with today, and we're going to break apart some of these power words to just better understand what we're looking at this week. And our target, everybody give me their arrows. I can read and write words with R-controlled vowels. One more time with me. What's our target? I can read and write words with R-controlled vowels. So I want us to think, first of all, what are those vowels again? Take a minute, tell mom and dad or whoever's with you. What are our vowels? Yep, A, E, I, O, and U. And in this case, we're not thinking about that Y, because have you ever seen a word that has an R that controls the Y? I don't think I have. But we have seen all these other ones be controlled by an R. And that means that the R is coming after that vowel. Maybe we see an A and then an R. Maybe we see an E and an R, an I and an R, a U and then an R, and then an O and then an R. And there are words that we see and we read all the time that we know make those sounds, like in the word her, right? We write that word all the time, we see it all the time. Or the word for. That's a word we see and we read all the time. Or even the word car. Addie was writing the word car the other day, and she's in kindergarten, because those are words we see and we hear all the time. But the IR and the UR and the ER all make that same sound. And so it can be tricky as second graders to write those words and to know when we're gonna actually write it with an ER, when we're gonna write it with an I, and when we're gonna write it with a U. And so we're gonna tackle some of those words today. So what I've done is in purple, I've written our vowels up here above our vowels, and I've shown how that control is with that R coming after those vowels. And I'm gonna use a little bit of my tape to tape this little CLT on top of our chart today so that we can use it to help remind us of our learning target and what we're really working towards today with our second grade learning. And what you can see is what we might see every other day on our chart. We have our sort. I have our AR and our OR separate, and then I have our ER, our IR, and our UR together, because so many times those make the same sound, and it's just a matter of trying out the different patterns and seeing which one sounds right. Our goal in second grade is to use conventional use our spelling, right? That means this is what we know makes that sound, and so we write that sound. And sometimes it's right, and sometimes it's wrong, but we get to figure that out as we keep writing and we keep reading and we see these words over and over again. And so today I have some words for us to think about, and I have some pictures for us to think about. Our words already have the patterns, and so we're gonna underline them and we're gonna tape them where they belong. We have the word J, and then if we know car, we know this word. It's J-R. What's the whole word? Jar. And we're gonna put that over here under the AR pattern, because it's got the AR pattern in it, right? When we put a word under, either a word or a picture under a heading, it's because it has that same pattern as what we have at the top. Ooh, we know this part inside of this big word, right? That's the word, that's the pattern. O-R, we know for, and we know the word or, so I bet we know this word. It is corn, yes. And so just like you would do at school, we're gonna underline that pattern, and families, encourage your second grader to write this word. They can write it on a whiteboard, they can write it on a piece of white paper. they set these up all the time in their reading journals. And so this T-chart is nothing new that they're doing. This is just a pattern, just a new or a review pattern that we've worked on. And one thing we have them do every single time is underline those patterns so we see those connections between those words. So we're gonna put that pattern, whether you write it, every time you're going to underline it. Ooh, this is one of those tricky ones. When I see that IR, oh, wait a second, let's look at our chart. I know that ER, IR, and UR make that same pattern. So if I know that her and the and her makes the sound, then I know that this is gonna make that same sound. So take a minute, what's this word? Bird. Put it together, bird. Don't let us make her forget to underline that pattern. I've gotten a little excited with my tape. You guys know that can happen sometimes, can't it? Let's see if I can save it so I don't overuse it too much. Gotta save some, right? So I'm gonna put bird up here, okay? Ooh, I love this word. Here's my okay, now this is a 2-syllable word. That means it has 2 chunks in it. So we have our lur and our haul. And let's put it together. We have holler. Holler. I miss hollering across the playground, hollering your names. I miss saying things nice and loud. And we're gonna put that over here under that ERIRAR, or UR. Ooh, here's another one. Again, we know that UR makes that same sound as that ER and that IR, so that this part is the UR, and I have curb. Let's put it together, curb. Looks backwards to me. I hope it's not backwards for you guys. And please don't let me forget to underline that UR. And now I have more words and I'll show them to you at the end, and maybe you and your families can sort them. But I'm gonna take a look because one of our goals isn't just to read these words, but it's to see a picture, see an object, and be able to write that word that matches it using what we know about these patterns. So I love this one. What is this a picture of? It's a rug, or it is carpet. So I'm gonna tape let's think about this, R. Which one makes the same sound as R? Is that bird, cor or orn, or jar? That's right, it goes under jar. So we have our carpet. So let's take a minute. What's a part that we know? Car. So I have my car. And then I have my second chunk, pet. And all the way, I have that word. It's easy peasy, right? We can use chunks we know to help us write the ones that we don't. Ooh, I love this. This is a burst. Everybody say burst. 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 We know a lot of those sounds. In fact, I'm gonna write it. I know it's not gonna go under R like carpet. I know it's not gonna go under or like corn. It is gonna go under the So I'm gonna pop it over here, and I'm going to think about the sounds I know. Burr. I have my B. I have my and I have my st for burst. Now I can try it like this. That doesn't really look right, does it? ER. Let's try with the IR. I don't think that looks right either. Oh, I think that might be right. Burr, that you are. Almost like a burr that you get when you go hiking. Let's look at another one. Ooh, I love this. Right now is a perfect time to do this word. And it is the word morning. Everybody say morning. Morning. I hear or. That sounds like corn. So I'm gonna pop that over here, and let's think about that sound. What's the first chunk? More. Well, I could have m. I know my OR says the or. And then I have my ning. And I know that ing says ing, so I can put that together. Let's see. Ooh. That's a good one. Ooh, I love this one. Makes me really hungry. What kind of a cone is this? It's a swirl, like twirl and whirl, okay? We know it's gonna go over here, but let's think about this. We know that tw, tw, tw. We know that TW makes that tw sound. And I know that R and L, but it's a mystery. Am I gonna do an E, an I, or a U? Well, let's try that one. TWURL? I don't think that sounds right, do you? What about that Why doesn't look right? Let's try that I. Oh, that looks so much better than my messy handwriting. Twirl. And so now I have my and my My last one I'm gonna do for this part of our lesson. This is a finger. Well, we know ing, and we know that I'm gonna pop that up over here. And if we have a UR and we have an IR, what do you think, what pattern do you think this one's gonna be? You got it, babes. You got it, second grade. We have our ing, and then we have our It's that ER pattern. So one of the things we want to be doing today and every day when we're reading and we're writing is we want to be looking at these patterns, this ER, IR, UR, OR, and AR. Those R-controlled vowels, they make a different sound than they normally do. And so we want to be thinking about what pattern we're going to put there, and we want to use that in our writing. And we can read it pretty well, but writing it's still a little tricky. So I was going to read a book today, but already we're kind of getting a little low on time. So I'll extend this talk tomorrow when we read this book again, or when we read this book for the first time, and I'll highlight some words you can continue to add to your chart from today. But I'm going to tell you the words that I have that I want you to add to your chart for your word study time today. Our first word is the word fork. I want you to write that word, underline the pattern, and I want you to underline that R-controlled pattern, okay? That or. Fork, same thing. Try to sketch it out the best you can. This is a tricky one. That SQU makes qu. We had the word squirm, squirm. Scatter. The wind made all my leaves scatter around my yard. Turn. I hope this weather doesn't turn cold. It's so nice right now. This is one of my favorite ones. Smirk. I bet you have given your parents some smirks this week. Smirk. Sharp. Turnip. And forest. You should have a word and a picture for each one of these patterns. See if you can figure out which one they are. Have a great day, second grade.